Hi, this is I just want to show you something. This is a little perch for a bird. I've got a lot of bird feeders in my home, and I prefer the small ones. So I usually make them these to sit on. You can see it lost its stick there, but I'll just put another piece of wood there. This one is approximately, I think, 16 years, maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure, old. We made these when my eldest daughter got married. So yeah, you can see it can hang in the garden forever. The only thing that happens is your piece of wood maybe gets lost along the way, but then you can just put in another piece. But I see they also sit here, so they don't mind. So you can use this for small birds near your feeder to land and then get into the feeder, because one of my feeders are closed with holes like this about just for the small birds, and then I've got bigger feeders for the bigger birds. And even the hummingbirds, I've got some of them near my fountain for them to perch on, and they sit and swing a lot in the garden on these. I've got different ones, but I just took this one just to show you. So I'm going to put it out of the way. I've got, I'm not sure how thick is this. It's about more than 1 millimeter thick. Then I've got this thin one that I'm going to wrap around here. I've got a few beads, and I've got my piece of wood. So I've got a few of these utensils or things I'm going to use. I've got a ruler, so you can roughly, I'm going to make my bird, you can see about this size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to make something like this. And then I'm going to put my stick there. So you can see you need roughly about 50 centimeters, but I'm just going to cut it at about 60 centimeters just to give me a little piece to play with. And then I've got this wraparound, this ones I can maybe take double this size just to make sure I've got plenty to wrap around with the beads. So this is about 1 meter, and this is about 60 centimeters. You can make them smaller, bigger, it doesn't really matter. So for now I'm going to start with this big one, and my middle is about there. So I'm just going to twist it into a little loopy. If you struggle with arthritis or anything, you can use a softer what do you call these, wire. So yeah, I've got this. You can make as many calls and stuff as you like here. You don't need to follow my exact I see there's a lot of info about hummingbird feeders and stuff like that. As I said, mine is, you can see it's about 16 years old, and there's nothing wrong with it. And this was just a few wires I cut like that, and then I attached them there. And yeah, it's rusted and everything, but it works. So you can use your pliers. Oh, sorry, I've got a little helper in the studio this morning. She's a rescue. I've got at the moment 2. My other one passed away recently, and luckily, I don't know, they're too old to catch birds, but I also know you can train them not to catch birds. Well, mine don't catch them. Okay, so I roughly got this. I maybe must make a little bit fatter. You can just bend your wire that it's lying a little bit more flat onto your table, and then you can check where you want your piece of wood. Now you can let it go anywhere. I'm thinking I'm going to do something like this. I rather like this piece here. You can even make it a little bit lower. You can see from the top, not the loopy, but from the top to there is about 14 centimeters. That's more than enough space to land a small bird. So what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to, you can, if you've got dowels, you can take your drill and drill holes through and put your wire through that. But I think the sticks break easier than, well, a dowel can maybe keep a little bit more. So I'm going to press down and I'm just going to make a little bit of a loop there because I just want to get my angle first. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I don't want that it be too big, so I can see it's up about until there, and then I'm just going to bend that. So now you can just check it. This one can be a little bit closer now as you want to play. You can do that. How many of you have got helpers in your studio? I've got 2. They make turns. Ek kan nie daai draad gou nie, liefie dan. So just curl it about like that so I can get my wood in there. Now I can check it and I can see, okay, I like where this is going. I can maybe shorten this a little bit, but okay, the moment I've got it up to that stage, now you can decide how small you want this perch to be. I'm not going to worry too much. I think you mustn't make it smaller than 10 centimeters. So at the moment, while mine is lying there, it's about 13. So I'm just going to go and I'm just going to close my wire there. And the same on that side. And then I will just take it in up to where I want it. Maybe make that one a little bit more. So that's all I'm going to do now, and then I'm going to take this wire and I'm just going to wrap it around my wood. You can even, if you like, to keep it on that area there, you can just cross it over like this, and you can even wind it along your wire there. This is a little bit thick. I prefer a little bit thinner, but yeah, I'm working with what I've got. So now I've got this one. I will bend it a little bit more later on. So I'm just doing the same on this side. And as I said, it depends on how strong your hands are. The older you get, yeah, well, the more you lose your strength. So just take a thinner piece of wire. I only took this because that's what I've got on hand at the moment. If you really want to make this super strong, you can even go with a double row of wire, but I'm happy with this. And you can also, even if you in the end and you don't like a lot of wood sticking through there, you can maybe go and cut a piece off. You can actually do what you want. Okay, now what you do now, you take your thin piece of wire and you can start putting in a few beads. This is just plastic beads. They won't keep long in the sun, but it's okay. Then I will just maybe put another piece of wood. I haven't got anything else at the moment, so I'm just working with an old bracelet. Of a child that broke, so you don't have to go out and buy expensive stuff. You can just use what lies around in your home. Usually if you're a crafter, you have got a lot of hoarding that you do. So I'm just going to put in a few. I just want to make a loop at the end that they don't slide off. There you go. And then I'm going to put in a few. Maybe I'm going to use all of them, maybe I'm not going to use all of them. You can put in as much as you like. If you like a lot of blingy stuff, you can put in more. If you don't like it, you can just wrap your wire around it, and you don't need to put in any beads. Just make it your own. So I'm going to stop talking now, and just that I don't bore you to death. Okay, I've got about 23, I think, when I count it quickly. Of these, I can just as well pop in this little heart that's in my hand. And now what you are going to do is you're going to make a wrap around here a lot more neater, if you like. I don't mind a mess, so I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to see that the wires can maybe not scratch the birds or anything, you know, like that. You can put in the wire in between there, then it can slide off, but it's not anyway going to slide off. Now what you do now is you take your wire and you start looping it through this. But you can take a bead first and slide it up to there, and then you can start winding this around. Now that's where I said you can decide where you want to put the beads. I can even, if I want more beads, I can put it in at you know, as I go along. Now I'm just going to start and wind this up because I want to put in a bead there. The beads go where they want, and I don't mind. I see I've got a lot of open spaces there, so maybe there I can put a few beads more, like 3, not just 1. And there you go, just wrap around and enjoy yourself. Luckily, as shorter this your wire becomes, it's more easier to handle. And I forgot, you can even, if you want, you can put beads like that and take your wire so they stick out to the side a little bit more, if you can see that. But what you can do is you can make yourself a few, you know, as you go along you will anyway see what you want or need. You can make them bigger, smaller. You can even make them for large birds. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And now I'm going to take my wire and I'm just going to wrap neatly where all these wires is around. Until I'm satisfied, then I will cut it off. And if I can manage it, I will just take that point and put it into the beads opening again. Now you can just bend it maybe a little bit more if you like. And there you've got your little swing. Now you can just pop it in the garden and watch the birds come and sit on it. As I said, I hope you make it. If you make a few, just you can. I would love to know if you would like to do something like this. It can keep years and years. As I said, you can even take your thin wire and go maybe just closer and clean up your edges if you like. Maybe like there, you can see a little bit tighter or whatever. But I like the looseness and I love color. So there's my little swing. I'm just going to clean up that area there, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I would love to see you again, and please comment and tell me if you like it, and if what would you like to see. Must I show you something else, maybe a heart or triangle or anything, and I will gladly do that for you. So take care and have a lovely week.